everyone.
We're here.
We're here. We're here. We might be struggling as per usual. We've had very long weeks and it's early. It's so early, but we're here. We're doing it. We're doing what we love. And we thank you all for being here with us. So I see a few people in the chat. So as per usual, my mom is here supporting. So thank you. And then Roman. Good morning, Roman. How are you? I'm so happy to see you here. Hello, Cajun. You behave, sir. No teasing this morning. I'm way too tired.
But the silkies, man. The silkies.
I swear to God, I will yeet you out of the street so fast and I will talk about this book myself.
Silky lives matter.
If I ever meet you in person, I'm throwing a book at you.
Please do so. I shall keep it and hold on to it, and I have you sign it. Be like, yes, the famous A Troubled Green threw this book at my head this one day.
Stop it. I am not. Oh, that's not happening. All right. Anyways, Shieldwall, thank you so much for being here, Shieldwall. I deeply, deeply appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Hi, Phil. How are you this morning? Jumped on me. Hi, darling. Hi, sweetheart. Thank you so much for being here. Yes, I agree, Roman. I will yeet Shieldwall, are you tired? Yeah, I got in really late last night, and I started a different book because sometimes I need a little. I don't, this is heavy, hard. It's not heavy. It's just, it's dense. Let's put it that way. It's dense. And sometimes I need another book. And so I was dumb and I started a new book last night and then I couldn't put it down. So that's why I stayed late. But also yesterday was a very long day. So yeah, I'm exceptionally tired. And I know Nando's tired also. So BS, sir. BS. That's a loadable.
I'm in the same chat as him and he seems like he's a pretty chill dude.
He loves pushing my buttons. Let's just say that. I always enjoy intelligent conversation. Thank you, Shieldwall. I don't feel very intelligent at 9:30 in the morning, but I deeply appreciate that for sure.
I mean, it's almost lunchtime for some other people,
This is true. No, Phil. No. I would rather go base diving without a chute than party. And also, it was Cinco de Mayo. For those of you who live in the Southwest,
tacos.
Yeah, it's for those who don't know, it's celebrating Mexico's independence from Spain, and it's actually like, not to bring like a sour note in, but it's actually incredibly dangerous to be out on the road because of drink driving. So no, I was not out for any of those reasons last night. My mom says she loves your pipe.
Thank you. I do as well. It's my husband's, and he told me if I do anything to break it, that we would need to have marriage counseling.
That's funny. My new favorite hobby is picking on a lake. No shit, Sherlock. I know
it's a great hobby. I think it's a perfectly valid hobby.
I'm just gonna have to make myself scarce in Max's streams from now on. Thank you. Yes, it celebrates the battles in Mexico. Yes, thank you. I'm the worst New Mexican ever. I'm just like, your girl's white. She don't celebrate. I stay in. So anyways, okay. I have so many jokes I can make right now. Save them. Let's just save them, shall we?
Hey, the show will be on my channel next week, and I allow all jokes. I'm kidding.
I'm gonna be conveniently sick next week. So
oh my God.
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. All right. So thank you all. Oh, here's Rogue. Let's see.
What's up, Rogue?
Not worries at all, Rogue. Thank you so much for stopping and saying hi. We deeply appreciate it. The chat is I lurk. Thank you for the lurk, my dear. I hope you're having a wonderful morning. I know it's early. What was I gonna say? I don't know. I can't remember. Okay, so anyways, thank you all so much for being here.
That actually ties into something we're about to be talking about.
This was on purpose.
Yes. Wait, was it really? Oh gosh.
Well, no, I was just like, it's Star Wars week. I hate to admit this. I hate to admit this. I only have two two Lord of the Rings shirts. I have an Arwen shirt and I have a shirt. It's on the back and it's like it's Narsil. And in a circle, it says "Renewed shall be blade reserve that was broken. The crownless again shall be king." I have that shirt, but it's on the back, so it's just like a black. It's just plain black shirt on the front. But everyone loves your pipe. Okay, I may have to.
Yes, I've had the pipe the entire time, but I only bring it out very rarely. And I'm like, wait, I love this pipe, and it's my fidget now. Because yes, but yeah, Tugs, we started off the show talking about yours and mine favorite subject.
Yes.
That is the silky. Yes, you're welcome. But if I talk about it anymore, they're just gonna eat me off the stream. So I will
be happily talk about
I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna be good and just be here smoking my figurative pipe.
There you go. All right, so let's dive in. So we have some Rings of Power news. I feel like, again, agreed, Rogue. You have to get it like it's third-party sellers at this point. There's very little out there. I feel like our streams, again, we kind of jumped into this like not knowing what we were gonna do. And we've been testing the waters as we've gone. And I'm really proud of us for like where we were on our first stream to now. So we're going to open up with some Rings of Power news that Mando luckily has pulled up because I'm blocked by the onering.net. I'm sure you all know. So I don't know what's going on there. And European Lore did a video on this, but I unfortunately didn't have time to watch it. So, real quickly, hold on, real quickly. I'll have a Roman, thank you so much for $5. Good morning, Soul Sisters. Thank you for my weekly lessons on all the things I don't know. You're spectacular. Thank you, Roman. And then my mom gave me $10, which again,
yeah,
she'll probably be like, okay, now you have to go get groceries. I'm like, okay. So, thank you, mother.
No,
I am officially a hashtag. I made it. Team Lage, no silkies. I am a hashtag. I feel very
Team Mando, yes, silkies.
Hi, Excalibur. Thank you so much for being here. I've been thoroughly enjoying our brief conversations on Twitter, so thank you for being here. So anyways, let's get into this onering.net news because the level of nonsense.
So yes, basically the onering.net, and I'll bring up the actual tweet because this is European Lore's video about the tweet. So I shall bring up the actual tweet. This is the actual tweet. It says, since it's Star Wars Day, fake Star Wars Day for some of you who don't like it to be on May the 4th. I understand that. Move on. Are we calling the new Lord of the Rings movie and shows the expanded universe?
Read the next tweet because I'm like, just thank God this person jumped in.
Yeah, the tweet right underneath it is, nope, the shows and movies aren't canon to each other or with the books. And then they come back with, thus expanded, like, well, duh, that's why it's expanded. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to put the pipe down to do that because I don't want to sully the pipe.
Yeah, don't sully the pipe. Don't sully the pipe with the SJW voice. It's not a good idea. It just like it just George Lucas is still alive. And I think now Tugs, if you're here, I know you're lurking, but if you can correct me if I'm wrong, did not George Lucas not really care for Mara Jade? I don't think he loved her, or he didn't like her character development or something. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, George Lucas has approved this larger story within Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
He like contracted, and you know what? Okay, I just remembered this. This just came to me. So Timothy Zahn was here 3 years ago, I think, when we had New Mexico has the most pathetic little cons on the planet, but it's okay. We still get to go do nerd stuff. And I went, and Timothy Zahn was here, and he was talking, and he said, you know what it's like working for George Lucas? It's like you're a kid, and your sandbox is directly in. He didn't like the way she looked. She thought she was too pretty. Interesting. Well, that's interesting. I didn't know that. And too much like a model, but he liked her character. Okay, all right. So
Okay.
then I must have been thinking of something else because I thought some people didn't like Mara Jade, but whatever. It's like your sandbox is directly behind your dad's truck in the driveway. And your dad sometimes will tell you, get out of the driveway, I'm going to back out. And then sometimes he won't, he'll just back out and destroy all your toys. He's like, sometimes George Lucas loves what you do, and then sometimes he will yeet that stuff out the window so fast it makes your head spin. So he's like, George Lucas was very intentional about what he allowed to be in the expanded universe and what he didn't.
Yes.
According to Timothy Zahn, who I do trust because how long has he been in this game?
Right.
So the fact that they just have the audacity to say that like unilaterally now the movies and this TV show are now considered canon within Tolkien's Legendarium is just like, it's astonishing to me.
Well, one of the things, and European lore kind of touched on this. I talk with my hands so that way I don't like yeet the pipe. One of the things that European lore had touched on in his video was, so first off, the main difference is Tolkien is dead. George Lucas is still alive. That's a big difference there.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when you look at how the expanded universe is treated versus Rings of Power and what all else is going to come from Amazon, so the expanded universe is George Lucas's seal of approval. This is what he has approved. This is his canon. So in my opinion, it is the actual canon.
Mm-hmm.
But when Disney purchased the rights, they said, nah, man, that's no longer canon. So the expanded universe, as far as Disney canon is concerned, is no longer canon.
Mm-hmm.
They just were like, oh, we're going to buy this and make our own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Lord of the Rings or Amazon is doing that, but they're trying to say like, no, we're actually the expanded universe. You know, we're the actual canon. All of this other stuff isn't. It's just lore. So like the OneRing.net, I think, has their wires crossed, or some marbles fell out of all of their bag of marbles. I think they have one marble left in this bag. So the simple fact that they're trying to compare what they're doing with what is actual canon as far as the creator is concerned, they either have a lot of balls or they have no marbles.
Yeah, and like,
basically,
yeah, I don't know. I just like don't even know how to like the expanded universe. And they're all okay. So what they're implying, and I know at one point I do think it would behoove us to go through Tolkien's letters, if not like spend a whole like segment on them or like go into them as we're reading the histories. But I know there's that letter, and I think it's 151. I can't remember. I need to get that book, but that Tolkien wrote that, you know, other hands would take up and add to and all these things. What I find hilarious about this, and this is just inductive reasoning and me bringing my background to the table. Tolkien literally would insult people in the most British way possible when people tried to add to or fix or expand upon or whatever his established legendarium. He like, I need you to get the amount of imagination it would require you to understand how irked I am. He's like, can you not be stupid for maybe a few minutes, and then we'll talk about how annoyed I am. He was so polite in his rebuttals to people, but it's so British because it's so insulting. But he's like, no, anytime anyone tried to do that, he was like, no, that's not what I thought. Nope, that's not good enough. Nope, that's not good enough. I don't like this. Like we just saw with those what the BBC found in their archive found. Tolkien was like, nope, don't like that. Nope, you're not changing this. Nope, I don't like this. You're gonna put in this. He was quite. I think it's fair to say, and I think Christopher would have absolutely agreed that he wanted people who were of his level of intellectual prowess. He didn't want stupid people adding to his legendarium. Like, I'm sorry, like the short of it is he didn't like stupid people, and he didn't like the thought of them trying to improve upon his work. No, it's the truth. And he like, he wanted intellectual people to take up his world, not for say the Beatles, whom Tug sent me the most brilliant little snippet of information the other night. It was just hysterical about how much he detested the Beatles, about them playing the Hobbits. He's like, that's not the point. I'm not having pop culture people play my characters. And so just the thought that any of these morons think that anyone could improve upon or somehow add something that has the depth and breadth of anything he's already written. Sorry, I know I'm rambling. Is just
Oh, you're fine.
The hubris. Oh my God. It's just so aggravating. It's really, oh yeah, George Lucas. I need to read that. Yeah. Yes, I agree, guys. So anyways, yeah, that's, I don't know. Do you have any more thoughts about this?
Sorry, I'm also like in chat a little bit. I don't know. I feel like we can touch on the fact that what we were kind of talking about backstage, how the OneRing.net is kind of no longer relevant, and it's now the Fellowship of Fans who's kind of taken their place, right? Is that kind of what's happening, right?
I think so. I definitely. Okay, do you want me to go ahead and stop sharing this? Or are we good on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me share. Yeah, so like well, hold on, let me bring up the tweet. I just think, I don't know if I'm able to find it, but yeah, the Fellowship of the Fans, I think that, okay, let me get my thoughts together. Again, guys, it's early. The OneRing.net reacted too strongly, and I think they all know that now. That they didn't just like throw slop in the water. I mean, they threw it on top of us. And then, hey, Miss Martin Muse, thank you so much for being here this morning. Hi, thank you so much for being here. I like it when you ramble. That's how you go deep. Oh, well, thank you, Shill. I feel so dumb when I ramble. Like I always, I do. I'm like, I can't get any of my thoughts together.
It means that your thoughts need to, like, sometimes thoughts aren't always in a linear pattern. Sometimes you have to go to the different dots on the little map. So it's fine. It's fine.
The modern show writer doesn't respect the source. They want to corrupt it. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Oh, nice. Okay, well, good. I'm glad we're getting more exposure. Mando has a Twitch and a YouTube. So definitely please go follow her. Oh, I forgot to put all of that in the description. Dang it. Okay. I'm sorry. We will add we'll get links out there.
No worries. A2 posted my Twitch
okay, great.
my Twitch link.
Okay, good. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I was in a rush yesterday when I created the room, so I totally forgot.
No worries.
What was I going to say? What was I saying?
We were talking about you rambling.
Well, yes. Okay, no, back to the OneRings.net. I think that they came out of the gate way too hard. Like, they pushed the buttons way too, like, immediately. And that Amazon, and I believe Nerdrotic when he says Amazon is full well aware of the backlash of that they are panicking, the writer's room, that conversations are being had, that reshoots are happening. I fully believe him. I trust Nerd when he says this. And I do think that 3 million downvotes is the correct number. I think for that YouTube has been repressing that number, and that the fact that it's fluctuated up and down, I fully believe that was the correct downvote number, and that they've since covered it up. I think they're using Fellowship of the Fans as a means of softening the blows, because Salty Texas and I have talked about this, and we talked about this on a video, and we're probably going to do more coverage on this, that the Fellowship of the Fans, they're trying to be like, because they're so knowledgeable, they're like, you just need to trust us. Like, don't question what we're saying. You just need to trust that what Amazon's doing is actually the correct thing. So I think that they're they're just going to start softening and being very insipid about how they start getting this crap out there.
Right. They realize, oh dang, we done messed up. Let's try and make nice.
Yes. Thank you. That's what I was trying to say.
But I don't think it's gonna change anything. Just thank you. I don't think it's going to change what they're doing with the show. I think they've already, like, it's a train and the train is just going to crash off the cliff, but they're trying to make the train look pretty as it's crashing off the cliff. They're trying to add decorations to
said train.
To the train. Wow, this analogy is going downhill fast too.
I'm just like seeing Santa's sleigh. That's all I know I'm picturing. The Fellowship of the Band is the evil, negative opposite of the Phantom Menace. Yep. And you know it's so sad that if they do really truly sell out, what makes me sad is that they love Tolkien. It's like, wow, you're gonna sell out for inside access? That's what you want? You don't want the books to be respected, you want inside access. That's I pity them. It's not so much that I'm mad, I pity them. Older generations have more respect towards traditional works by renowned authors, i.e. Tolkien, Lewis, and Herbert. Modern generations want everything fast-paced to catch up with their dopamine hits. Yep, that is the sad truth. Because, like, I mean, like, Excalibur, like, we're going to jump in here in a minute. This is hard to read. Like, the Silmarillion's hard. This is hard. The Lord of the Rings is hard. It's a different style of writing. And this is why Lady Gravemaster and I have gone on these 3-hour-long tangents about how pathetic current fantasy is. Like, I mean, that's kind of my genre. Fantasy is my genre. And it's just like, it is in a sad state of disarray right now. And you're right. They do. And that's why they're compressing the timeline. These normies and these Joe Schmoes off the street whom they are banking on showing up. Oh, and the wait and see crowd. I do not like wait and see crowd. I have so many thoughts about the wait and see crowd. They're the ones.
Yeah, one of my close friends is a wait and see crowd.
And I totally get wanting to be like, I want to judge it for myself. I totally understand that, but it's like, don't disregard the warnings we're giving you. You know what I mean? Anyways, I just like this is hard, but the reason they're compressing the timeline and changing pretty much everything is because people are dumb now. Just like, I don't know how else to put it. Like, social media has made us dumb.
Well, I think it's more than just social media. Yes, social media has in some way, it's shortened our attention span, but it's the actual public education system.
Yes.
Because some of the things that were required, even when I was in high school to graduate, like the required reading, I had to read Animal Farm. I had to read 1984. I had to read Fahrenheit 451. I had to read, what other, like, Beowulf. I had to read, like, all of these classic things. That's not required reading in a lot of high schools anymore. But like just the standard, we have lowered the and like higher education as well, like Oxford, you know, all of these other colleges, all of their entry level like scores to get in or requirements to get in are just so low because they're like, well, we have to dumb things down so that way we get more people. It's like, no, that's not the right mindset to have. You need to have we are an institution of higher education. We are going to hold you to the standard. If you do not meet the standard.
Yeah. Well, and then when they get in, again, I've ranted and raved about this relentlessly. When they get in, say you go to an English department, you go to like a 102. Everyone's opinion is the right opinion. No one's challenged. No one is asked to back up their claims. No one is like, no, that's wrong. Sorry, sit down. No one is told that like you need to think harder about this. And that's why, like, you know, I was a teaching assistant for 2 or 3 years, and my students hated me because I was like, no, You didn't back up this claim. You regurgitated the lecture, and you gave me several throwaway sentences with no evidence to support it, and none of your own argument. And they would go to the professor, and luckily the professors I was working for were of an older generation, and they were like, "No, they deserve that F. They didn't do anything. Don't let them." They're like, "No, I'm not changing this grade. You need to try harder." So I was very lucky, but then like my own professors would be like, "Everything goes. Everything's okay." And I'm just like, "Are you serious?" So
you need to go be a swami. If you want to have that mindset. Just go be one of those swamis. Just sit and just like, yes.
Yeah.
The universe says that the universe says that you are one.
Yeah, exactly. So the that shouldn't be, dude, I am so honored you're here. Thank you so much. Are hard to read because they are unfinished. But you know what? Even though, and the reason I say it's not, they're not hard to read and that they're hard to understand. You just have to sit there and be with them. It's not like a book you can kind of like passively let flow over you. You have to sit, like if you really want to enjoy them, you have to sit with them and really let them sink into your soul. But because we are, oh my gosh, I love this book so much more than Silmarillion. I love this book. I'm having such a good time. So hold on, we've got chat. You guys are on fire. Middle school, we had to read books.
That's awesome.
I had to read books, but I went to middle school and then high school, the books became less and less. Yep. And then they allowed too many people who don't need to go to college. I figured out a long time ago higher education wasn't for me. Yeah. And it's funny, like in my master's program, we had people from here, there, and everywhere in my cohort. And they're like, "What does it take to get into the University of New Mexico?" And I was the native New Mexican sitting in the room, and I said, "You have to have a pulse." And all of them like choked on their water because they were like, "Geez, that was harsh." And I was like, "I'm serious. The University of New Mexico, you have to be breathing. If you're breathing, you get in." There's no standard at UNM at all. But we're an incredibly poor state and they need the money. Otherwise that institution will shut down. No, that's because students can be taught how to recognize and the communist. Okay. And think critically for themselves. Yeah. And that is why if I ever had children, they were not setting their foot near, I don't care what school I'm homeschooling them.
Absolutely.
All right. Unless you like Disney, Star Wars. Yeah, exactly. I'm 47. When I was a kid, there was no multiple choice. Problem solving didn't provide a guess. Books were the main tool to increase comprehension and writing. Yep. Like when my mom was homeschooling me, so I'm dyslexic, and my mom pulled me out just simply to teach me how to read. That's all we did was read. Like that's all I did was just read and read and read and read and read. And I mean, was I behind in math? Yeah, but my mom didn't care, neither did I. Social media is the new book reading. No kidding. If the unfinished puzzles are hard to read, does that make the Silmarillion a headache?
It's so.
No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
The Silmarillion is like, so the first half of it is basically like reading a history book. It's this happened, then this happened, and then this happened, and then these people that did this thing, and this, and then eventually, I forget, it kind of goes from like third person to more like, it's still third person, but less third person, like up here, third person, like, and this is more literary terms, but like kind of the closer third person where you're kind of in the muck instead of just observing from the heavens. And that's kind of the Silmarillion. It starts out kind of in this high, cloudy, atmospheric view, and then it slowly kind of goes further down.
Yes. Yeah, it funnels in as the further the unfinished tales are like stories you can sit with. And so on that note, I think we should go ahead and dive in. I'm going to say this right now. If you liked the Northman, you need to read chapter 2 of the Unfinished Tales, Narn in Hien Hurin. And it's the story of Turin, son of Hurin. Like, this story is so freaking good. And I swear, if you, like, because I was telling Mando behind stage, if you, like, when you read a book or you watch a movie and you're like, I want to watch the same movie, but not the same movie, that something has the same feel, but doesn't have the same feel. Like, if you're looking for something that can satisfy, like, your hangover from the Northman, I especially know you guys out there, you need to read this story because there's a lot of dialogue in here. There's like
check your donations.
Oh, check my donations.
Someone in the chat said check your donations.
Oh, okay, Cajun Corey, thank you so much for $5. I know I pick on you, but seriously, I hope this YouTube channel grows and works out for you. Thank you, Kate. I know, dude, it's all in love. It is
Y'all,
all
she's
in
gonna
love.
be the next hot thing. Y'all
Stop it.
don't
No,
even know.
not.
She's gonna blow up so
No.
fast. She's gonna blow Max out of the water, guys. She's gonna be bigger than Nerdrotic. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Speak it. Speak it into existence.
I just, oh God, I just don't know if I deserve all this support, but thank you, Cajun. And Cajun, it's all love. I do have a temper. I fully own that, and sometimes I do I can be pushed too far. I swear.
Yes.
From my chat.
Silky lives matter.
Thank you, Ark, for trying to keep us on track. But the dialogue is good. Unlike, yes, exactly. The dialogue here is so good.
Yes,
so good. The only way Alicia's gonna actually.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. Please don't yeet me out of the stream. I started a thing.
I am not. Never. The most you'll ever see me is in biking shorts, which I currently have on because it's hot here today. Are you going to be at any of the meetups? I'm gonna do my best. Mando and I were talking about carpooling to Orlando. I don't know, guys. Like my life. Okay, I'm not terribly. I don't hide this fact. I'm the full-time caregiver along with my mom, with my grandmother. She has advanced Alzheimer's. It one depends on finances, and two, caring for an Alzheimer's patient is very up and down. Like they hit these manic highs and then they crash, and then they hit these manic highs and then they crash. And when she's on a manic high, she's really hard to deal with. And I don't know if I can leave my mom alone. I would love to get to, if I can, Texas and Las Vegas because they're within driving distance for me. Orlando, I'm going to pray about it and I'm going to hope it works out because I would love to so much. Thankfully, it's in October. I have time to plan. If I do, Mando and I will be carpooling. So I don't know.
Don't worry, guys. I'll bring the silkies.
You're not getting in my car. You're going to walk. I'll drive down the side of the highway and make you walk.
I'll just be on the top of the car.
There you go. Yeah, just holding on.
No.
Yeah. So guys, I mean, I hope I can. I really want to, but it's not just oh, I can't get off work. It's no, I have an 85-year-old who I have to take care of. So it's unfortunately just my life right now. So anyways, we'll see. If you behave on my if I get monetized, we'll see about Sundesk fame. Win. That's win. Makes me wonder if Tolkien was inspired. Yes, I think he was. I totally do. I absolutely think he knows. Taught Skaven. Yes, he did. He taught this. This was his thing. He would have known these stories inside and out. And there are several very small little scenes. Again, if you've seen Northman, you're if you read this book, you're like, whoa, same vibes. So I know A2 is always going to be in my corner. Totally going to be worth the ban I'm getting.
Cajun said he'll come back and pick me up if you kick me out. Yes.
Fine. Family comes first. That is true, Ark. And the thing
Absolutely.
is, I have my sister and my brother. If they can help while I'm gone, because the thing is, it's Las Vegas and Texas, that would maybe be max 5 days that I would be there. Orlando would be pushing up against 2 weeks for me, and I just don't know if that would be possible at this point in time. Again, we'll see. I'm firmly of the belief that if God wants me to go, that door will open and it'll be effortless and everything will be taken care of because it always has been. That's always been what's happened in my life. So I'm hoping. I'm not going to push anything and I'm not going to force anything. But if we do, then I will let you guys know. I'll keep you guys updated. Anyways, okay, let's get into this book. That's the whole reason everyone's here. I know the series. Yes,
Or it could be you're the reason that everyone's here, but what do I know?
Oh, stop it. They're here because of us. And as far as I know, no one else is doing this. I know Miss Martin Hughes, they're on the Silmarillion right now, which I have never caught one of their streams because it's always like, always something has come up, and I'm like, I always miss Miss Martin Hughes' streams, so I'm deeply irritated about this. At one point, I will go back and listen to them. So yeah, let's dive into this. So for those who don't know, again, this is so Turin showed up in the Silmarillion.
Mm-hmm.
And he is the one who killed the dragon. Glaurung, yes. And hold on. You vamp for just a second. I'm going to get a book.
Okay. I will go over kind of so what we discussed last week. We were talking about Turin. Now we're talking about Turin. So kind of going back with last week, there was a family who they're kind of related to Baron, and this guy had two sons named Hurin and Hurin, and they had sons named Turin and Turin. We last week talked about Turin and Hurin, or was it Hur? Oh my God, I'm gonna.
We talked about his cousin.
Yes.
Tur.
We talked about Tur. Now we're talking about Turin, which a lot of people get them confused. I get their names confused all the time. I don't know why you would name your children something so freaking similar, but what do I know? Thanks, Phil. Sorry, I got distracted. So Turin's cousin went to Gondolin to warn the people, like, hey, bad things are about to happen. Turin was raised in Gondolin, and he was like, I'm about peace. Yes. I'm gonna go fight the things and do the things over here.
That's true, Ark. He made talking trees. I'm not gonna argue with that point. It's true. So I'm so irritated. I saw this Instagram post. I was gonna pull it up, but I can't find it. But Glaurung is the dragon on Turin's helmet, and someone has made the most beautiful replica. And I thought it was fell and fair, because they do have a replica of that helmet, but I can't find it. I was just gonna bring it up because it's just so beautiful, and there's a lot of like symbolism around that helmet, and that's why I named the stream that. But anyways, that was a sidetrack.
Thank you, Tugs. She said she's gonna bounce out.
Play for it with Johnny and Josiah. I'll keep. Okay, yeah, no worries, darling. Thank you so much. I love you. I love you.
Yeah, Shield Wall dragons. So if you guys want to, like, if you have the Silmarillion, maybe you don't have the Unfinished Tale, but you have the Silmarillion. The story that we're talking about is in chapter 21 of Turin Turambar. That's kind of where that story is in the Silmarillion.
Yeah, so it does make sense if you want to read. So if you want to read Turin's story out of the Unfinished Tales, read up to the return of Turin to Dorthloman. Stop there, go to the Silmarillion, read that half of the story, and then come back and finish Turin's story, because Christopher was like, it's the exact same thing. Nothing in my father's notes changed. So you need to, he's like, literally go read the Silmarillion if you want to read that half of Turin's story, because where it picks up then the return of Turin to Dorthloman is after he's killed
Glaurung.
Thank you.
I like saying the dragon's name.
Well, so I can't remember the dragon's name.
Yeah, Glaurung is the father of all dragons. Yes. He was not the biggest, he was not the baddest, but he was the first.
Yes, he was. So anyway, so we start off with Turin as what, 6 years old?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah.
Just before the Battle of Unnumbered Tears,
yes.
Which you guys, if you've listened to the podcast a little bit, you'll remember we kind of touched on the Battle of Unnumbered Tears, and that's where the men turned on everybody. Not all of the men, mind you, but the men turned.
A good portion of them.
Yeah, and they basically made a bad name for all men in the mind of the elves and the dwarves in particular, from that day forward.
Yeah, dude, I know. And the thing is, it's like I love that you guys love following along with us, because I feel like we're all over the place. Like and that's my fault. I think Manda's a little more like, let's stay on topic, but
what you talking about? I stream on Twitch. I don't know what you talking about. I have to be crazy and wild all the time.
So we start off with his childhood, and for a lot of it, he kind of had an absentee father, not like because he didn't love his son. But again, it's very like his father was off fighting with the Elf Kings. Was it Fingolfin? I can't remember.
I think his because I remember them talking about like how her and really love the Elf Kings and stuff. And if you like, if I remember correctly from the Silmarillion, because my brain's like mush right now, that was one of the things, one of the kings that he fought with on a regular basis. But he was well known because of Baron. Like you guys remember the story of Baron and Luthien, because he is a cousin, like a second cousin, I think, to yes. Baron.
Yeah.
And so that whole line of men to the elves is well known.
Yeah, and they're really oh my gosh, Purple, thank you so much for being here, darling. Thank you. Good morning and afternoon to you. I'm sorry, my brain's mush. It's early for me, so I can't remember what time it is in Britain, but I hope you're having a lovely day.
They're about 6 hours ahead, so it's about 6 or 7, maybe 5.
Early evening then. It's interesting that like so this story, and we'll get into this more again, because I've got the Northman on the brain. This book made me appreciate the Northman so much more. I'm like, I'm gonna go see it again. Not really though. It's interesting that Tolkien is starting to, in this book in particular, he's starting to show the slow decay of men. Like this band of men is still considered to be a high and noble status in the elves' eyes. Like they are. Is this Bjorn? I can't remember if this is Bor's line. What's that guy's name? The first man. It was Bore, but it had the umlaut over the O. I can't remember that guy's name.
Yeah, Bjor.
Bjor, yeah. I think that this might be his line or half of his line. Like these are the men that the elves still hold in like really high regard. Beor, thank you, Beor.
Yeah.
And you can but there's a dichotomy after. So Matt and I were talking that the for me, what Tolkien is indicating is that the Battle of Unnumbered Tears did more damage to Middle Earth than did the final battle with Morgoth when the Valar returned. Because you can see the dichotomy between like the men who are slipping, like regressing into like this nomadic state, and that like Hurin's line is attempting not very well to like hold on to like their noble stately status. You know, like you can see this sort like the regression of men starting to come in, and like Hurin's line I feel like is one of the last that's trying its utmost to like hold on to its identity as men of nobility that stood with the elves.
Yes. And like one of the things later on in the story is when the Easterlings refer to Hurin and his family, they call them witch or
the White Witch or something.
Yeah.
It was towards the end.
White friends or something.
Yeah, because they feared the elves so much.
Yeah, they called the elves white people. Oh my gosh. Amazon's gonna have a field day with that. Anyway, and so like whenever the Easterlings referred to anyone of that line, they were like, "Oh, you are elf." In a nutshell, you are elf friends.
Yes.
And that was not good in their opinion. They viewed elves as witches and wizards and just these beings that are evil. Oh man, I can see where Amazon's gonna go with all of that.
All the things. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
Was there a point to that ramble? Losing my train of thought.
Well, just talking about the Easterlings like being fallen men.
Oh yeah.
And so like just kind of the view that men like the Easterlings in particular had to, which is very weird in my opinion, why they viewed the elves so like as evil, because Morgoth literally they helped Morgoth in the Night of Tears and they did not get their reward. And this is after like they referred to the white friends after the Battle of Unnumbered Tears, when
Yeah.
they hated both the elves and Morgoth. So it's very
and it's funny, and again, like they call the Easterlings, these wild men, Hurin's people, Hurin's folk call them the wolf folk, that they were wolf-like. And so again, it's just like you can kind of I just, again, Northman. If you like the Northman, read this book. But it's you can see that this more brutalized version of men has kind of entered the story, and that you can see, like, I feel like everybody has hurt fifis after the Battle of Unnumbered Tears for good reason. But that's where the elves are like, yeah, we have no desire to deal with these people anymore. And maybe, and you know what? Having said that out loud, Gil-galad, I think, was too young to be at the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. I think that was when his father had sent him away to be with Círdan in the Havens. Maybe that's why Gil-galad was in Linden just chilling, like, yeah, I don't care if the Wolfmen are doing things and killing each other. More power to them. That's not my circus, not my monkeys. And then here come the Numenorians being like, we'll teach them stuff. So I wonder now, because last week a couple of weeks ago, we were wondering why Gil-galad and the others didn't, do something. I bet you that's why. I bet you they were like, yeah, no, we're good. They're a bunch of crazy people who just murder each other and take women against their will and all these things. And it's not our business to fix. No, yeah, it was. I'm not. No, it was. But I do think that there is something, like, as a woman, I'm like, ugh, that was weird. But can they use those words and phrases, rights and all? No, I don't think they can. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. If it's at this point, if it's alluded to in the appendices, they'll probably find a way to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go ahead, dear. I'm talking over you.
Oh, you're fine. I was trying to find the specific phrasing they used to talk when we're skipping ahead on that. Sorry, my bad. Let's kind of start from the beginning, like, of Turin's story, like what happened, how he grew up, and just kind of where we are in his story in a nutshell. Okay. So, like, more or less, Battle of Unnumbered Tears happen. Turin's father goes and fights. He is not killed, he is captured. And when he is captured, Morgoth talks to him because he knows the way to Gondolin. Morgoth's whole thing right now is Gondolin is this sacred elf place. I have to take it down because that is an unknown factor in all of my dealings with Middle Earth, and this is the last elf stronghold. I have to take it down. And so Hurin knows how to get to Gondolin, but he doesn't even tell his wife. Like, no. He took an oath, like, I can't tell nobody. But Morgoth knows that he knows the way, so he takes him captive and doesn't kill him because he wants to know the way to Gondolin. And Hurin's like, nah, bro, I ain't telling you nothing. And so Morgoth's like, all right, what if I give you, what if I make you a captain among my people? What if I give you all of these lavish things? And Hurin's like, I saw what you did to the Easterlings. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
And so there's kind of this banter, and Morgoth's like, how dare you talk to me like that? I am of the Valar, blah, blah. And Hurin's like, I know the Valar. You are not anywhere near as strong as you used to be. And
that was so glorious.
He's like, bruh, I know you. You ain't nothing right now, bruh.
Nor were you the first, so just shut your mouth.
Yeah, he's like, you were not the first, you were not the best, and you are not the brightest, apparently, at this moment. Yeah. And so Morgoth's like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
So he basically puts a curse on him and his entire family. Like there is going to be tremendous hardship and toil that his whole family is going to have to go through, which Turin has a pretty tough life
He does.
because of it. And what Morgoth does is he places Huron on a chair, a magical chair, where he can't die, but he can't move, and he can see everything that is going on with his family.
Mm-hmm.
So he sees every
Everything.
whole thing that happens to his home and his family.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the story opens up.
Yeah.
And then
sorry, go ahead. I would like to, if we can, and I don't know, I really feel for Morwen, his mother. I don't know, like, Tolkien kind of wrote her as she comes off as like this cold and uncaring mother. He doesn't even call her mother. He calls her Morwen. She doesn't cry. She doesn't show love. She doesn't feel affection. But man, she's a smart woman. And she does what she can for her children. And you can tell she's borne a lot of sorrow, like that she knew marrying Hurin would mean she would rarely see her husband. That there was a good chance her children will all die, and she did lose her middle daughter. I like, of all the women that we've read up to this point, she's really stood out to me as being a really beautifully written woman, and I really empathized with her. And you can see like where mother son have this like don't talk, they're very like closed off there. And I mean, I'm also kind of like that. I don't show a whole lot of emotion, and I kind of keep my thoughts to myself, which I have learned to the detriment, just like Turin did. But I don't know, she's an incredible woman, and she really bore a lot of stuff with a lot of grace.
And she also had a lot of foresight. That was kind of one of the things that she didn't quite have the ability to see directly into the future, but she had a lot of foresight.
Streamlabs. Okay, hold on.
So I will continue on while you're looking at Streamlabs. Okay. So basically that's how the story opens up, and then we kind of turn back to Turin and his mom, and kind of their plight, because what happens when Huron is taken captive, the Easterlings come in and take over everything, Huron's whole kingdom, but they will not touch his wife and his kid because they believe them to be his Huron's wife to be a witch.
Yeah,
and she also comes to find out she's pregnant.
By the way, it's page 70. I found it.
Oh, thank you.
It's the middle of that. Morwen Elthwien remained in Hithlum, and while you're finding that, Salty texts the sea for $5 for the Silkies. I mean, Frodo, your choice, I guess. Dude.
For the Silkies.
For the Silkies. On that note, I need to make Salty a mod. There. Okay, Salty, you have a wrench, because I know you were salty about that last time. Not to say a pun, but
no wrench.
I know, right?
There.
I know. Yeah, so it's in the middle of that. It's what they were calling her, what the Easterlings, wolf folk, were calling her. So it's
white friends. With the white friends.
Yeah, which are the elves. It's for
Wait, does this confirm that all elves are white?
I just thought of that. Oh, good call. Boom! Because I know that, Jackson...
Why would the Easterlings call all why would they call them white friends?
Dude. Yes.
This is why you read, people. This is why you read the lore, man. This is why. Because you can be like, oh, wait. No, in page 70 of the Unfinished Tales, which is, Tolkien, there's a place where the Easterlings call anyone who is friends of the elves the white friends.
Yes.
If the elves were black, then... They would just say the wizard friends or the witch friends or the yeah. So
Yes. So the white friends.
dang it, I lost my spot.
Yeah, no, yeah, because like Jackson depicted them as having like this glow about them, especially when we see her saving Frodo. I can't remember what that state was called. It was like her true state or something.
Right.
So they were glowing, obviously, but no, if you assign a color to something like that, the white friends, yes, well figured out. Don't do just solve something, clip it, and send it to Gary from Nerdrotic. I agree. Someone get that, because I know you're a member of Gary's channel, aren't you?
I am. I haven't been to one of his member streams in a long time because he always has them when I'm doing a stream. I'm like, gosh dang it, Gary.
I would like to join Gary's group, but I'm way too shy for that. And also I need to save money. If you want to go to Meetup, I am ending memberships because again I need to save some money. So anyways, so yeah, like he has a rough childhood, and his mom, once Hurin is captured, and they don't know if he's captured or he's dead, she sends him to Torgon in Doriath, and she's like, that is literally the only chance I can give you. And I can't fathom being a mother and sending your child away like that. He'd never seen his mother cry, but this picture of when she sends him away, it's at the bottom of page 74, but Morwen's standing on her throat, and again, this Northman vibes when Amleth is rowing out to the sea and he says, "Mother, I will save you. Father, I will avenge you." And I can't remember the rest of it, but Turin cries, "Morwen, Morwen, when will I see you again?" But Morwen, standing on her threshold, heard the echo that cried in the wooded hills, and she clutched the post of the door so that her fingers were torn. This was the first of the sorrows of Turin. And then we find out later when Turin comes back to Dorloman that the men officially for the first time in their lives saw Lady Morwen crying because she had to bid her son farewell. So I don't know. It's like, it's all heartbreaking. I'm like, oh, she's a mother having to send her kids away. This is horrible.
Yeah, so, and she finds out at this time she is pregnant.
Yes. Yeah, with her third child.
So she finds out she's pregnant. Her husband is either dead or missing, or they don't know what. She has to send her 6-7-year-old son to a place that she has no idea if he's gonna make it or not, or she knows Gondolin exists, but she's like, I don't know how to get there. Hurin didn't tell me how to get there. I just know it's in this direction.
Yes, and she sends two men with her son who are like what I imagined were in their 50s. She's like, good luck. I don't know what to tell you. And I can't go with you because I'll give birth in the wild and we'll both die.
Basically.
So yeah, Turin is something of a rough childhood. A father who's not there very often, a very emotionally distant mother. And then he gets sent off to he doesn't know where. And then we come to Doriath. We come to the elves.
Yep. Basically, the king there was like, who is this kid? And they're like, this is the kid. He is related to Baron. And it's like, oh, you mean the dude that married my daughter? Oh, that one? He's related to them? Okay, I guess he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
And so he basically raised him as his son, which is really cool. Like a lot of the elf people there were like, wait, this is a man. Like this is a human. Like I thought we hated them.
There you go. Exactly. And you know what? It's just like you can see again, it's interesting. So Beren and Luthien are a foreshadowing of Arwen and Aragorn. I feel like Turin Thingol and Turin were a foreshadowing of Elrond and Aragorn, because like up until that point, elves had never adopted a human child to be their own. So it's interesting that this is the first instance we get this, and I'm like, oh, he's of the that's of the line of Arwen, and so Arwen's how many thousands of times grandfather adopted a human child just like her father did. It's interesting. It's interesting to see. Like, I couldn't help but think of like that George Lucas quote. It's like, what does he say? It's like poetry, it rhymes, you know? So you could see that like a lot happened in this era that foreshadowed what was happening in Elrond's time in the Third Age. Hey Mo, thank you so much for being here.
Hi Mo.
Wrench time. Did I get a bot or something, Salty? Is everything okay? Okay.
I didn't notice.
Okay.
I think he's just liking the wrench.
Okay. All right. He likes his wrench.
Everyone likes the wrench. What are you talking?
This is true.
The wrench is power.
It is power. So I thought that was really interesting that Thingol like didn't even hesitate. He's like, oh, okay, Baron's kin. All right, come here, kid. Come sit on my lap. And his whole court was like, what is happening? Why is that kid on our king's lap?
Basically, and then there was this one guy. It's always one. This one guy who's like, I hate humans. I hated Baron because I wanted to marry a Luthien. And so he still hates all humans. And he's like, oh, he's related to Baron. Well, I especially hate this guy. And Turin's like, who the heck are you? Who you
Exactly. I don't know you. Why do you hate me so much? And it's interesting, you know, he said that dude, and I can't remember this elf's name, that he was the friend of the minstrel who was in love with Luthien, who ran off into the wild trying to find her and was lost. So yeah, obviously he's got some salt going on.
All of the salt.
If you no, I don't want that kind of.
The wrenches of power. Yes, the wrenches of power. 1880s. I don't know what year this is. I'll have to ask the husband.
Yeah, there you go. So sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna kind of and y'all, I am super duper summarizing things.
We're brushing over a lot.
So basically, Turin is raised in the place with the people, and he learns a lot of elf lore, and he learns a lot of training and how to use equipment. But basically, kind of one of the things that stood out to me is he was so strong, he didn't know how to control his strength. Like one of the things he was not good at was at being a craftsman, because he would break things because he would hit it too hard. And he wasn't even like a full grown man at this time.
He was like 17.
And so like when he kind of gets a little bit older, he goes to Thingol and he's like, dude, I want to avenge my family. I need to go. And Thingol's like,
nah.
You can, but you're not at full maturity, and you're like where you are now is fantastic, but you're going to be even more powerful. Go out, be one of my knights, go train.
Exactly.
So he does that for a while.
You know, and for all of this story, oh God, again, I want to read now the Children of Hurin, which is a full epic poem that Christopher put together. I can't wait to dive into that, because Tolkien, like this is like the hero's journey to me fully realized, because we start with him at 6 years old, him not even understanding what a thrall/slave is. You know, we start with this like idea of this kid who's like, you know, he sees his dad with his army and he's like, oh, I want to be that, but how do I become that? And like, Tolkien doesn't shy away from the fact that the hero's journey friggin' sucks sometimes. It's awful. It's a lot of sorrow. It's not an easy journey.
This poor guy.
It is. And it's just like, but he just writes such a good, like, that he as a man is like, no, I'm not gonna sit here idly by. Like, I'm not gonna weep around. I'm gonna learn what I can, and I'm going to at one point avenge what has happened. It's just this to me, again, is like Aragorn's hero's journey fully realized, in that we start with him as such a young boy, and we're going to finish the second half of this book, or this tale, next week on Mando's channel, because there was a lot. But I really loved that, like, Thingol wasn't like, oh, yeah, you're 17. You'll be fine. And Melian and Thingol are both like, no. you're not ready. You need to learn more. It's
imagine
charging ahead.
Imagining having your adoptive mom be a god. Just think about that for like 2 seconds. Like, she's basically a god.
She's a god. Like,
what?
And like, she is not afraid to speak her mind.
She's like, because Thingol will be like, there is sometimes like Thingol will be like, all right, well, if you want to leave, you can't come back. And Melian's like, actually, dear, you're always welcome back. It's just like,
she totally does. She's like, excuse me? I'm the one who puts up this shield. You don't get to say.
It's like, I clean this house. You don't get no say in who gets to come into this house.
Yes. That is like such a feminine thing to do. She's like, excuse me? You won't say, I maintain this house. Thank you very much. I love Million. But like, just the snippets we get of her, she's like, damn, she's just dropping bombs.
Yeah, because like Thingol will be like, yeah, I'm the man of this place and blah blah blah, and you gotta respect. And Melian's like, okay, dear.
Why don't you go do your stuff? And she's like, someone go find Galadriel. We gotta fix this. She is hilarious. I love Million. I think again, we get tiny snippets of her, but man, she's just like, she's so unafraid of speaking her mind. I love her. I absolutely adore her. But yeah, they just like, they basically put Turin in his place and say no. And that's when he goes to the border and meets Beleg, which I wish I hadn't been so deliriously tired when I was reading that chapter of the Silmarillion. I need to go back and read it, because that whole story of Beleg is, Beleg the Black, it's so significant. And now, and you could just, it's just amazing to see, like, he finds this older teacher and he's like, I'm going to teach that kid everything I know. Because he needs to be the one who saves his people. I loved that he was like, immediately took this kid under his wing, and he's like, okay, we got stuff to do.
Oh, one of the things we touched on this earlier, but I forgot. So the helmet that Turin actually has, which is an heirloom of his house. So if you guys remember way back in the Silmarillion when Glaurung showed himself before he was supposed to, and he got his little tushy beat, the man who did that made a helmet with the image of Glaurung on it. I'm going to try and just say Glaurung like multiple times in one sentence because I like that word. And so that person who kind of defeated Glaurung the first time had made a helmet, honoring, the battle and all of that. Or was it an elf? It was somebody who first,
I thought it was the dwarves.
Defeated.
Was it the dwarves? I don't remember.
The dwarves came in and helped at the last minute, which is what helped drive the dragon back. But there was one person, I don't remember if it's an elf or man, who did it, and there was this magical helmet created that had Glaurung's image on it, and that was passed down through, of course, generations and blah blah, and it got to Hurin, but he didn't take it with him to the Battle of Unnumbered Tears. And so basically, one of the things that Turin is given when he runs away is this magical dragon helmet, and that comes into play later on, because when he goes to defend the borders of this area that I can't remember that we've just been...
Is it Doriath? Huh? But it's Doriath, but it's like a certain region of Doriath that I can't remember.
Right.
It's called.
And so when he goes and starts, picking up the arms and going to battle, he wears this helmet, and the orcs are just flipping the heck out, like, oh my god, the helmet's back! Oh my god, has this person reincarnated? Yeah. Oh my god, run away! And so, like, it basically became a symbol of, okay, we're not going to mess with these people.
Yeah.
So later on in the story, when Turin actually leaves and goes off on his own little adventures, the orcs, that's when the orcs and the Easterlings and all of the forces of Morgoth get closer and closer to Gondolin. That's the word I couldn't think of a second ago, Gondolin. they start getting closer and closer to the borders, which, if you remember the previous story, Turin has to come in, and when they come in, they're like, oh my god, Morgoth's forces are so strong here. Why is this? Well, it's because Turin ran off.
Yeah.
So yeah, all of these are connected. Do you want me to keep going, or did you have a thought? Because I was just going to talk about the reason why Turin left.
Well, no. Okay, so I have a donation that I need to read really fast. So the Thad that shouldn't be. Thank you so much for $5. It's not that the elves were quote white, though there were confirmations in the text. Elves look Scandinavian and fit old description of Scandinavian, i.e., tall, perfect physiology, long hair. They are not swarthy, Mediterranean-looking elves like me, for example. Okay, yeah. Thank you for that. And real quickly, Shield Wall. How old was I when I first read Tolkien? Would have been 13. That's when I read The Lord of the Rings.
I'll be honest. I read. Trying to think of the timeline, because I didn't read all of the books in consecutive order like you're supposed to. Because I am like Shield Wall. I am more of a C.S. Lewis aficionado. Like C.S. Lewis is more within my wheelhouse of things that I know, and so I have read all of the Chronicles of Narnia several times, and I've read C.S. Lewis's biography. And you can't learn about C.S. Lewis without learning about Tolkien. And so, because of C.S. Lewis, I started reading Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, but I didn't read them all at once. Like this time reading the Silmarillion was only the second time I've ever attempted. First time I don't think I completely finished the book. But this was the first time I fully read the Silmarillion. So like as far as like the books, including The Hobbit, I want to say like high school to college. Yeah. I had watched the movie. I knew the lore, but I had not actually sat down and read the books till about high school or college.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just like, again, everything's kind of tied up with my reading. I was incoherent. I read the Chronicles of Narnia. The Chronicles of Narnia, the first books I ever picked up of my own volition that my parents didn't have to like bully me into or bribe me. And I know my mom was like crying that day because it was the first time I was reading on my own. And then I saw The Lord of the Rings. My parents had the first two on DVD. For some reason, those DVD came out really fast. So I watched The Two Towers and I fell in love with it. And so I did pick up our books, but it took me like 6 months to finish them because I was still a very slow reader at that point. I didn't really get comfortable reading until I was 10. So, but I have this vivid memory of like thinking that, was it Frodo or Pippin? Either Frodo or Pippin when like we think they're dead, and I was sobbing uncontrollably, and I like put the book in my mom's hands, and I was like, read ahead, make sure they're both still alive. And she like found, I was like, all you have to do is just find their name. And she did. She's like, okay, they're alive. Go keep reading. So so yeah, and I read The Fellowship of the Ring like 20 times at this point because I'll read it and then I'll start The Two Towers, then I'll get distracted, and then I'll like be like, I can't remember where I was. So I'll start The Two Towers over again. So if I can finish The Two Towers, it'll be a miracle. Yes, okay, got that. Yeah, that is. And you know, again, this helmet is like Glamdring or what was Thorin's sword's name? Orcrist? I can't remember. I started The Hobbit at 11. Yeah. And that seems to definitely, jeez. Dang, dude. That's incredible.
Kudos.
Yeah, hats off. I never read the books, but I'm not a book. That's okay. And I know you watched the movies for the very first time. You're gonna have to tell them if you like them. Cajun, if you ever do want to read them, I can't suggest the audiobooks enough, especially the new ones that Andy Serkis read, who played Gollum. They are phenomenal. And I have the old Robert Inglis copies of the audiobooks, but man, Andy Serkis, he nails it. They are so good. So if you ever want to give it a try, if you want to invest in the audiobooks, Thank you. Yes. So anyways, so yeah, sorry, side trail and
Oh, you're fine. I'm just trying to like basically do an overview and then like we can go dive into more things. Um So basically one day, how most weird stories happen. So one day Turin was coming home from battle and he was just exhausted and tired. And so he just sat in a random chair at a table.
mhm. This is
Apparently
like
that
3 years
was
after his Meliad and Thingol were like, no, you're not leaving. He's
yeah,
aged a little more and he's grown into his strength.
yes.
And he's a
He is
very
now
perilous warrior. Sorry.
yeah, he's well known throughout the lands and stuff. And basically he's like, okay, I'm tired. I'm just going to sit down. Apparently, so you guys remember a few minutes ago when we talked about this one random dude who didn't like him? Yeah, he sat in that guy's chair. And
He sat
he's
at the
just
cool kids table and sat in the wrong chair.
basically because he was tired. He just got back from battle. His hair was unkept. You're not gonna look pretty when you go out and fight anyway.
Yeah.
So he just sat down and nobody said anything to him. Everyone else was just like, oh, how's the battle going? How are you doing? Just catching up. And so this one random dude, well, I can't remember his name for the life of me. Ceros. Yes, Ceros. So Ceros comes and he's like, y'all, he's in my spot. He's in my spot. But he doesn't make a huge scene. So he just kind of sits down and he starts berating Turin. He's like, dude, you're a human. Humans are dumb. I bet your mom is dumb. And he basically makes it your mama insult. And so Turin's just like, wah, how dare you insult my mother? And like takes out his sword and everyone's like, stop. And so Turin's just like, you know what? Whatever. I'm gonna leave. You do you. I'm out. And then he like, I guess he rested. And then the next day he went to go back to battle. And this dude, this mofo, comes after him with a shield and a sword. He's like, I'm gonna get you. And Turin's like, bet, son. And so he basically takes him out. And then he's like, you know what? For the insult that you gave to my mom, I'm going to strip you down naked and we're going to chase you down like a little animal. Because all in the kingdom.
Yeah, he said he's like, I've never seen such a wild man. Do the women of your people run around naked like deer in the wild with only their hair to clothe them? I mean, he really made a yo mama joke. I mean, he really just went below the belt with his mother. And so he basically is like, if you think the women of my, okay, let's see how you like it. And he just starts chasing him.
Yeah, and so basically the dude gets close to a cliff and he intended to jump down, but he falls down, and so he ended up dying. But the problem is that was one of the king's advisors.
Yeah.
Shockingly enough. And so Turin's just like, oh, I gotta run and get out of here. So he doesn't tell anybody what happens. The only thing people see is him chasing an advisor of the king off a cliff.
See, the other advisors like saw what was happening and were chasing them as well. And like they gave him a choice. Either you come back to the king and you atone for what you've done, and then Turin, excuse me, was like, either you kill me or you let me leave. Those are your choices. And it's amazing. What's amazing is that, like, again, we see the decline of man happening in this era after the battle of A Number of Tears, but you see that Tolkien's still trying to write these really lordly men who are deeply flawed, I feel like. And the elves, the Eldar, are willing to bow to the Edain. They're like, we have to respect what this man's saying, and we don't want to go up against him. Like, these guys, and I'm sorry, I would like to know why these guys were not at the battles. Like, why were they not doing something? Seems like they could have been, like, trading places a little bit, like to relieve some of the people on the forefront
lines.
Exact. Thank you. But they, but it's interesting. Like they tell they tell Turin, you're acting like an orc. You're a high man. You're a high, noble born man. You're behaving like an orc, and it is very unbecoming. It's interesting that Tolkien was like, he wasn't shy about like telling, using characters to be like, to hold each other to a higher standard, especially when it came to like combat and stuff. That was really interesting to me.
Yeah. Which if he had just been like, nah, y'all, like, did you not see him trying to attack me? Like, the whole situation would have been resolved and nothing would have happened to him. But no, this dude's like, oh, I'm in trouble. I gotta run.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, dude. Come on. And
Hey,
so,
hey, thank you for being here.
hi, Zax.
Wait, no. The elf accused the women of Huron's tribe to be doing this. They weren't actually doing it.
Yeah, the bad dude was like, yo, mama runs around naked in the woods.
And glowed like a deer.
Man, old your mama jokes were so fancy when you hear that.
I know, right?
That was mother's a boar.
Right? So I don't know. It's interesting that, like, I don't know, just the struggle of man to do the right thing, but he wants to avenge his mother, and he's just finding it hard to do that. Anyways, sorry, go ahead. Go what was the elf's name? You talk and I'll find
Saeros.
Saeros?
Saeros. Anyway. And so basically Turin runs off and the king finds out. He's like, dude, what happened? Like my advisor's dead. My, I guess, adoptive son killed him. What's going on? And they're like, well, all we saw was him chasing him down and then he died. And I was like, well, I guess I have to pass judgment on him and, have to make him an outlaw and stuff. And then there's this one random chick.
I feel so bad for her. She's an elf. She's one of the gray elves.
This could be us, but you'd be playing. Anyway, she's one of the elves and she's like, wait, I saw what actually happened.
So let's make this clear. She is one of the elves who never went to the Grey Havens. And she like literally will not set foot inside a building. They scare her. She's so like elf-like in what we understand to be elves. She won't step foot in a stone building, and that's what the better majority of Turgon's kingdom was. So she's just been in the woods like her whole life. She just she likes wandering and she likes being by herself. She sounds a lot like me, actually. This whole story is just made up of introverts.
And like one of the other things is she was a childhood friend of Turin's when he was taken to Gondolin. They used to walk together and have fun and play. And then as he got older, I guess he had no need of her. I don't know. And so, but she still continued to watch over him, like basically his whole time in Gondolin. And so she saw what happens. And so she goes up to the king and she's like, nah, like your advisor tried to go after him and kill him. And so he defended himself. Did he go too far? Sure. But he defended himself. And so King Thingol's like, oh, we need to bring him back. Like my son is gone. Like we need, like my son. But Turin didn't know any of this. So he runs off and he joins a group of bandits. Starts raiding with the group of bandits, basically, for a while.
Yes. And it's sad. It's implied she was in love with Turin, and later we find out that like Beleg was like, elves and men should never interact because this always happens and it's always a disaster and it's always a train wreck and it never turns out all that well and it's always sad. Beleg's like over it. He's like completely over elf-human relationships, and this poor elf, like he says, his shadow passed from her, so she's all brokenhearted. Stupid Turin.
Yeah, basically he could have had a really nice elf chick, but he'd be playing.
Yeah, he's just not interested.
And you'll find out. We'll keep going. There's a wonderful quote that we will quote to you guys. Yes. So yeah, he runs around with this group of bandits for a while. He calls himself the wronged,
Yes.
because he feels he was wrongly exiled from Gondolin, which he ran. It's just this weird thing. Like, he ran away, but he feels like he was wronged and exiled. He was technically wronged, but he didn't have to be quite as wronged as he felt. So he goes around with this group of bandits, and they're like plundering, they're like doing the bandit thing, and like there's a couple of bandits who are like, why is this, like, who are you? What is this dude? And so he basically becomes the captain of the bandits, and I am there are pages and pages I am literally just like going through right now. And they do some questionable things, and then Turin's just like, let's not do these questionable things anymore. And this whole time, people from Gondolin are searching for him. This happens like I think over a span of a few years. And so like he's just kind of running around, and one of his best friends, the person who kind of taught him everything he knew, finally after forever catches up with him, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, you are a high king of men. You are running around with rogues and scoundrels and bad people. And Turin's like, yeah, okay,
kind of. And it, I don't know, like you can see like the stumbling of men, like how they just are like, it's almost like he's like, I can't deal. I don't want to deal. And I want to give in to my emotion. And you know what? I'm hearing myself say this. It's like, this is him just giving into his emotions, and this is him taking the easy way out. He's like, I don't want to deal no more. I don't want to be this high noble person. I'm sick of it. I'm out. I'm accused. I was wronged. Nobody believes me. I'm just going to give in and be the terrible person that apparently people think that I am. Like, I don't know. He's playing into his own folly at this point. This is a low moment for Turin.
Oh, quite so, quite so. And then his best friend comes in. His best friend's like, dude, I've been searching for you forever. Come back home. You can come back home. And Turin's like, I am too proud to come back home. And his friend's like, are you stupid?
Kind of. He really does. He literally just says that.
Yeah, and so like here's the quote. So like he's talking, he's like, yeah, your little girlfriend that you used to have when you were a kid, like she came and defended you. And here's Turin's like, who's that?
Yeah, he's like, who? They spent
days, months, years
together,
hanging out with each other all the time.
Elvish. She taught him lore. Like it's not like she was lurking in the background. They spent time together, and he's like, who? Jerk.
Who's that? And then his best friends, this is what his said. Then Beleg looked at him strangely. Why indeed, he said. Turin, have you lived always with your heart and half your mind far away? You walked with Nellis in the woods of Doriath when you were a boy. And Turin's like, that was long ago. I'm like,
typical introvert, overly dramatic.
Like, that was so long ago, I don't even remember. And Balrog's like, I'm an elf. I live forever. That was 5 seconds ago. You're being stupid.
Yeah, no freaking kidding. No kidding.
And then we get to the dwarf.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like that whole part. This whole part I could spend a lot longer on, but we're nearing the hour and a half mark. But it's interesting, just like how, again, this is one of the best written hero's journeys I think I've ever read. And again, why is that shocking? It's Tolkien. Everything he writes is brilliant. But that part in particular is really interesting because you can just see him falling into like kind of this pit of despair and just being like, okay, whatever, I don't care anymore. He lost his way when he was with the outlaws. And it's, and Bella does his best, but he's too stubborn. He's incredibly prideful. So yeah, this dwarf, you know what? It's interesting. I think Meme is so different from Gimli, and even the dwarves in the Hobbit. I feel like Tolkien was still world building when he's talking about the dwarves in these early drafts. Mm-hmm. They don't feel the same. Like this, yeah. I feel like Gimli. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Mim feels more like what you expect. Like They're almost like a half between goblin and human. Oh,
Absolutely. Love the hero's journey. Yes.
He's Mim's kind of like this. I guess when you look at how people used to view dwarves, like before Snow White, dwarves were not seen as
Noble.
good guys.
Yeah.
They were kind of underhanded. They were always looking out for number one, and they would do whatever they could to look out for themselves. And you can definitely see that in the Mim story, because when Turin comes across this dwarf, dwarf is like very, very sly with his words. Like, I'm not going to do this for you, but I do have a thing for you. I have a shiny, I have a thing you need shelter. I can give it to you, but at a price, and you must do it on these terms. It's just very, what's up, Jeremy? It's very calculated. That's the word. Dwarves in this particular point of Tolkien's world building are very cold, calculating, and manipulative. You can definitely see that in Mim, because he's very much I'm very prideful. That still dwarven pride is still there, because at one point in time they shackle Mim because they're afraid he's going to run away and get them killed.
What dwarf take? You need to type in what take did I have on dwarves? They still world building?
Maybe. And so, like, when he's actually shackled, apparently that is like, and you can hear Gimli in this moment where he's like, "You put shackles on a dwarf does not forget, and we will, like, I'll get my revenge." Like, you can hear some of Gimli in there.
Yes,
like, a little bit of that dwarven pride there. But there are other parts of it.
Thank you for being here, Pendragon Designs. I don't think I've ever seen you here, but thank you so much. Welcome in. We are talking Tolkien.
Welcome.
So, give me a sec.
Ark is writing a novel for you.
Great.
And so, was there something else you were wanting to make? Because I was just going to kind of keep.
No, so basically, you definitely can't. I agree with you that meme. It's that pride. The pride is there, but like, Gimli's a lot more noble than this dude. This guy's a scoundrel.
I think, this guy definitely is a scoundrel, but I also think now I'm kind of rethinking my point there. If you think about the dwarves that kind of betrayed, well, that doesn't happen yet.
Real quickly, Pendragon, we're talking about the unfinished tales. We're on chapter 2, the tale of Turin, son of Hurin. So that's what we're talking about.
Yes, and we're to the point where he meets Mim, the dwarf.
Christine, thank you so much. I thought I'd seen you around here, but maybe I'd confused you with something else. Thank you, dude. Guys,
thank you.
Can't thank you enough. This is a weekly stream that we do, and we flip-flop back and forth. So this week it's on my channel, next week it's on Mando's channel. So we're just working our way through Tolkien. That's what we're doing. So Thorin, are we talking about Thorin? No, so Meme is I think he's of Durin's folk. No, he's not. Is he one of the other dwarf lords? I literally can't remember.
Well, Durin's folk kind of become all of the dwarves at some point in time, but that's later on. I think at this point in time, it might be Durin's folk, but I think he belongs. It's either a branch of Durin's folk or it's another one of the 7 dwarf houses.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
So Meme is a forebearer.
Oh, Ark says he's a mini dwarf, so he is a complete offshoot of all of the. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because there was a group of mini dwarfs that were kind of, they were dwarves, but they were kind of the evil, more evil dwarves. I remember whenever I looked into world building stuff. Yeah, I see what you're talking about, Ark. Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know what the word is for mini dwarf. Yay! Thank you. So basically he's just like, I have a place for you to stay. Come stay. We'll figure this out. And then this kind of the story goes on, and then it kind of cuts off, and Christopher puts a little note like saying, hey, you can read the story in the Silmarillion. And in the Silmarillion, it basically it talks all about how Mim betrays them and how, blah blah. If you go to chapter 21 of the Silmarillion, right?
Well, it's this newer edition of Silmarillion that he's referring to.
Chapter 21 of the Silmarillion is kind of a shorter version of Turin's story, and it talks more in depth about what happens when they meet Mim, this dwarf.
And then later he kills him, and then that's when we lose all of the treasures of the Noldor from Valar, which kind of makes me sick to my stomach. Just as a historian, I'm like, ugh, that was a lot of heritage that we just lost.
Yeah, the story is basically he betrays Turin, and later on in the story, Turin finds him at an old dwarven elf/dwarven settlement that has a lot of treasures from when all of the elves were in Valinor. And Mim's like, oh, this is a dwarven thing, so it belongs to my people. And Turin's like, you done stole all of this stuff. Die, fool. So he kills him. And then
petty dwarf. He's a petty dwarf.
Petty dwarf. Yes, petty dwarf. And then we kind of are in the Unfinished Tales come back to much later on. Lots of things have happened to poor Turin. He's had a rough go of things.
Well, just a little bit. He killed a dragon.
Yes, he killed a dragon, and now he is on the search for his mother.
Yes. So he goes back to Dorloman.
Yes. He is now back at Dorloman. He's killed the dragon. He found out his sister is dead. All of these horrible things have happened to him, and he's like, I just want to find my mom. So he's looking for his mom in his where he used to live, and basically he walks in there. He's like, suckers, this is my house. I'm walking in and doing whatever the heck I want. Where is my mom? And they're like, well, the Easterlings have taken your aunt as the queen of this realm, so you'll need to talk to her, and she's been really helpful to us, so please be nice to her. And he busts in. He's like, tell me where my mom is. And the lady's like, with her husband kind of sitting there, it's like, I don't know. And her husband
is like the leader of these wolf folk, and he is not a good dude. He has done all the things, pillaged, burned, all the things. And she's had to do all of this helping on the sly, like way on the down low.
She's gotten beaten multiple times by her husband for helping her people.
Yes. Real quickly, Pendragon. So the Silmarillion copy that we read was this copy, but they're all pretty much the same. Sometimes they have new introductions. Sometimes I found that the indexes in the back are a tad bit better because they're redone. So these are these covers. They all kind of look like this from Barnes and Nobles. These are the newest reprintings. So I would say anything in the last few years, even something used would be great. There are the super expensive copies that I have back there that are fully illustrated, but those are that was like $50. So you're gonna drop a pretty penny and you get the big copies.
These are $9 at Barnes.
Yeah, and like as you can tell, we highlight them, we mark all over them. I have writing in all the margins of my copies. The spine is broken. Like we're kind of beating the crap out of these books, so that we don't spoil nicer copies. So that's what I would suggest. Anything like I would say in the last 5 years, the indexes are really good, so you can find people. So yeah, sorry, that was a sidetrack, but yeah, like that woman, and like she's a kinwoman to Morwen. It doesn't shock me. She's a strong woman who's like, okay, you want me to bed you against my will? Fine, I'm still gonna help my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to just sit here and take this. I'm going to resist and stand up and defend my people in the best way I know how. And it's it's very subtle, but she does it.
Basically, yeah. And so he just walks in and he's like, dude, tell me where my mom is. And her husband gets up and he's like, dude, this is my house now. So you need to get out, you witch friend, you elf friend. And, you know, you are speaking in the servant tongue, which is actually the high tongue of that area. And it's now become the servant tongue to the Easterlings, and Turin's just like, dude, I have slain a dragon. I have walked through mountains. I have killed things that are beyond you. You will tell me what I want.
I was raised by the elves. Like, I don't play. I'm not playing.
And so the dude's like, bring it. And Turin just kind of like
picks him up.
He just like
shakes
slaps
him like a terrier.
He's just like, you're gonna tell me what I want, and he just throws him. And like some of the dudes, like people in his court, are like coming, and Turin's just like, get out of my way, witches.
Yes, basically, I'll cut you. And he's
like, I'll cut you.
So.
and then
he throws him across the table and breaks his neck. Yeah.
And then the dude's now widow is like, Turin, I've worked so hard to keep these people alive and to help these people, and you've just now killed one of the leaders. They're gonna come back and they're gonna kill us all. Because please leave. Please go away.
Yeah, you have to understand. So so this war chief's this wolf folk dude, his name is Broda. And he took this woman against her will. She's akin to Morwen. She is Turin's aunt. They never touched Morwen when she was living in this region of Dorloman, but they pillaged her people. So all of the people that Turin remembers as a little boy are now slaves to this war chief. And so a good portion of his people are living in thrall to this war chief. And she's like, your mother's not here. We have no protection. You just put all of the remaining band of your people in serious danger because you couldn't control yourself. She and Melian would get along. They'd be besties. They would. They're like, are you serious?
And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna go find my mom. And he runs, like, he takes a few people with him because they're scared out of their minds that the Easterlings are gonna come and just wipe them out. So he's running away. And as he's running away, they look back, and guess what they see? The town on fire. Yes. And they're like, oh, I bet you the chick did that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
And that's where we are right now.
We've got a dwarf conversation going on in the chat. Pendragon, I agree with you. The dwarves are super interesting. I just the elves are my favorite. Like, I love learning about the elves. This is my stance. There haven't been many changes. Yes, Khazad-dûm was friendly with Gil-galad and Galadriel's people, but that quickly ended, and Gimli was not a good dwarf either until he was, part 1. Ark is like on fire today. He's like, I'm gonna say all the things.
This town is on fire.
Yeah. So
thank you for shouting out my Twitch.
Yes, thank you, dear. So that's kind of where it ends. That's where we ended. Again, we had a lot going on this week, so we decided to cut this incredibly long chapter in half.
So this big story, this is how far we are in the unfinished tales.
Yes. We're slow. Oh my gosh, so much happens in such a short period of time. Again, Tolkien's writing is just incredible. But it's Turin. What's interesting about these men in this age, because Aragorn very much comes into his kingdom. He's living a rough life. He's, his mother takes him to Rivendell, and that's where like the heirs of Isildur and that house are hiding because they know Sauron is going to do everything he can to wipe out that line because he knows they're a threat. Aragorn didn't have a cush childhood either. I mean, I'm sure for a while when he was little, living with Elrond and learning at his knee was a joy. But as he got older, he had to go to the Dunedain and live in the north and
right.
And learn how to fight and be a warrior. And I mean, he looks like crap the first time we see him. I mean, everyone's like, he's a vagabond. Like, nobody trusts this dude. And they've got the High King of Gondor in their midst, and they're like, he's trash. Like, you should not be listening to this guy. Turin is very much like the opposite, but there's a more fancy word for it. Turin is like the opposite. I mean, we haven't gotten to the end of his story, but he's the opposite of Aragorn. It just seems like no matter what the guy does, he just can't seem to get to this place of being a high lord. Like he just keeps seeming like he just keeps slipping back into the mire. And I think that also boils down to his personality, that his personality is not very conducive to what he is. He's he's a difficult person, I think, to deal with and to, I don't know. I don't know if he's cut out to be like a great king of men, because he has some personality flaws, but he's still a hero, but you know what I mean? Thank you so much for being here, Excalibur. We deeply, deeply appreciate it. We're going to wrap it up like in about 15 minutes. So thank you so much. You guys are amazing. All right, let's see what Ark has to say. That is why Gimli became elf friend is so amazing. He started out hating elves and then he becomes the best friend with a pointy-eared elvish princeling, LOL. There is so much more, but that's what I wanted to say. Yeah, no, Ark, I completely agree with you. I absolutely
well, like even Mim, whenever he's talking to Turin, he's like, "Oh, you are a human, or you are a man, so you're better than the elves," and all that, you know. So like dwarves were on better terms with men than they even were with elves.
I agree with you, Pendragon. That could be like a whole stream in and of itself. Especially the new stuff. The new stuff's terrible. It's so bad. My massive bookshelf of legends Star Wars is ever growing, and yeah, it's so much better writing. Anyways,
thank you.
Oh, thank you, Jeremy. We appreciate that. Do the stream. Oh, okay. I'm getting more familiar and used to these streams. That can definitely be one I put on the docket. I've got a couple coming up that I'm trying to get organized right now. And I will be doing a special, okay, I'm going to just say this now while it's on my mind. I'm going to be doing a special stream next Saturday after this stream, around 1. And again, I'll be announcing it on my social media. So please follow me on social media if you want to keep up with what stream. Yes, because I'm gonna be doing. Books are my thing. So books and writing are my thing. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of streams about that. So, anyway, so yeah, I don't know, Turin. This was interesting. I loved this. And again, guys, if you weren't here in the beginning, if you liked the Northman, you need to read this book or this story. It's so similar, and you will enjoy it very much so.
Yeah, and it's one of the first ones that like Tolkien, like before even really the concept of the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings, this is one of the first stories Tolkien like really had together. So that's why it's so cohesive and like it makes more sense than some of the other unfinished tales.
Yeah,
because this is the first, even though it's in the unfinished tales, like it was one of the first and one of the last, like the Silmarillion.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, oh, thank you so much, Pendragon. Thank you. You guys are awesome. According to Max, yeah, dude, you almost made him flip his table. He was so mad. that was a funny. I've never seen Max, like for Max, that was Max rage. That was funny. So yeah, anything else? Do you guys have any questions before we start wrapping up for us? Please let us know. Oh, that's why my chat has been screwed up this entire time. That's irritating. I've been like struggling this entire stream, and I've not been able to figure out what was wrong with my chat, and I just figured it out.
What happened? What?
I broke down and paid for Streamlabs or Yards or whatever the hell this thing's called.
StreamYards, yeah.
Thank you. And so I was able to change the background, and I had to download this image of Rivendell for the background, and my download bar was blocking the chat. So I have like only been able to see the chat when it jumps this whole freaking time because I forgot to close out the download thing. So irritated.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
So if you guys have got any questions, now's the time to drop them. But Mando, what do you have going on, lady?
A lot.
A lot. Yes.
So
Hashtag a lot.
for I guess because yesterday was like I kind of reached some major milestones for my particular channel. I want to thank all of you guys. So I reached 200 followers on Twitter and 100 on Twitch. So very
I'm
big
so proud
milestone
of you. That's
for my
awesome.
Twitch and Twitter. I was not even somebody actually, I think it was TD or somebody else pointed that out to me. They're like, "Hey, did you know that you have like you're like 3 away from 200 on Twitter as well?" I was like, "Oh, okay." And to clear up some confusion, because there's confusion about my channel names are The Untamable Life, but I go by Untamed Mando. We are one and the same human being. There has been confusion that those are two separate people, because I do have like a private YouTube and account that says Untamed Mando, or you know, like some of my stuff does say Untamed Mando, but I can't put The Untamable Life on everything. And so I was like, what do I do for a screen name, and what do I do for a gamer tag? And Untamed, and then I like Mandalorians, if you can't tell from Mandalorian flag behind me. I was like, Untamed Mando. Oh.
Yes.
And also I haven't been keeping up with it for a while, but I do have a blog. It is theuntamable.life. And that's also like somebody was talking about, where is my C.S. Lewis content? I have actually a few blog posts talking about C.S. Lewis there. Which I haven't been keeping up with, which is why I don't really promote it much. One of these days I'll get back in the habit of writing in my blog. But yeah, that's kind of like I noticed that there's more and more people getting confused. Like, are you the same person? So this is the official thing where I am telling all of the people, Untamed Mando and The Untamable Life are the same people.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and I didn't know if I wanted to change everything to Untamed Mando, but my blog came first.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I hear you. I absolutely hear you. So have you got any streams coming up? Like you're streaming this, are you streaming this afternoon? No, you're not.
No, this afternoon I actually have to go to my normal job because there's not a lot of people, and they were like, "Hey, we need you to work every Saturday in May because we don't have the people." And I was like, "Fine, but this can't be forever." But normally, yes, I would be streaming this afternoon.
Okay.
So in celebration, so my normal stream schedule, so Mondays 7:30 in Central Standard Time, I do a Mario Kart stream on my Twitch channel. And then this Wednesday, I normally do a couple of other streams. Like I play Valheim with a friend, and then I do a Witcher stream. But instead of doing my Witcher stream, I am going to be playing Elden Ring this Wednesday as a celebration and a thank you to all of you who have gotten me to 100 followers on Twitch. So I am going to be torturing myself with Elden Ring this coming Wednesday.
No squish. That's awesome.
And there's gonna be more streams. Just watch my Twitter. My stream schedule has like just gone up in flames right now.
So I'm gonna check the chat really fast.
Also, this next Saturday, Literary Soul Sisters will be on my channel, my YouTube channel. Yes, I also have a YouTube channel that needs some love and attention. I know. A2D2 has put it in to the chat. She put a link. So yeah.
Live and learn. We can't tell, by the way. Yeah, exactly. Yesterday should have been longer. Geez, want more than 6 hours?
6-hour streams are hard, Jeremy. God,
girl, I don't even know. 2 questions. Are you troubled? What are your thoughts on the Obi-Wan show? Will it be okay? Okay, so first question, no. I need to clip it from Phil with the stream I did with Phil TNMT, or I can't ever say his name right. I actually explained what my handle means. It's a reference to Irish history. I'll just say that. I need to clip that out and put it on my channel so people know what my name is. It's a reference to Irish history, the troubles of Northern Ireland, and the song For Green Fields. That's it in a nutshell. As for Kenobi, not to be a tease, but tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central, I will be doing I'm probably gonna lock in that Sunday nights are gonna be my chill stream time, and we're just gonna shoot shit and talk about stuff and have fun and have guests on. I'm going to be talking about Jurassic World Dominion, the Kenobi show, and possibly House of Dragon, which I know zip about, tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central, again on my channel. And we will be talking. I have a guest. I'm going to have a guest on, my friend Tugs. She is very excited, and I am very like, I don't know how I feel about this because I love that book.
I would ask to join that, but I have family in town this weekend, so I
was going to ask you. Okay, well, darn it.
Well, actually, let me go ahead and say yes for now, and then I will let you know if I cannot. Go ahead and still send me the link, and I will let you know.
Okay.
Because yes, I want to talk about the Kenobi show because I have the opposite opinion that Tugs has, and I want to hear what she has to say because I really feel like they are just gonna butcher Obi-Wan Kenobi's character. Just the whole burn, like the meme that's going on Twitter right now with, you know, like how you trained his father, like
yeah, and that did happen in one of the comics. Owen very much did like accuse Obi-Wan of. So that did, but it's how Disney's framing it. That's the issue. So, anyways, yeah. So we'll be talking about it tomorrow. You do the same thing I do. Oh, I don't know what you're and that's why I got okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm like
oh, it's hard to keep up with chat sometimes.
Cover sheet? I don't know what that means. Sorry, Shield Wall, you're gonna have to explain what that means. I'm sorry.
Oh, she's talking about they're talking about like you doing all of the streams. Do all of the streams.
All the streams. Sounds fun. I love Tugs. Oh, great, Pendragon. That's fantastic. Okay, great. Oh, okay, cool. I don't know why I've never seen you. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So Ark said Mando v Tugs. I
will be the peacekeeper.
I love Tugs. I will probably back down because I really want Tugs to like me. I also want her to realize she's one of the people I want her to realize that Untamed Mando and the Untamed Life are the same people.
I know.
Because I think.
Okay, now I'm curious. You know me. Are you JT? I don't know. Who are you? I'm confused now. I'm sorry, is this a different account? Would I know you on another account? Now I'm like really weirded out. Okay, so anyways.
But yeah, right. So if it is a me v Tugs, it'll be like, okay, Tugs, please like me.
You know, I'm in the middle. I'm very much in the middle, and I will share those thoughts tomorrow. I'm very much on the fence. Those are my thoughts. Yeah, so for me, I have my stream coming up tomorrow. Next weekend, I have 3 streams. That's gonna be fun. And I am slowly but surely working on a Twitch. I have to figure out how to like hit go. So I'm not knowing how to do. So once I figure out how to do that and I get my PS4 set up and I will tell you all right now, the first thing I'm gonna play is Jedi Fallen Order. I'm gonna play Fallen Order.
I actually have that game. Yeah, and I want to play it.
Well, I want to play it. Okay. Okay. My game is glitching and I can't get past the 11th sister and I want to see if chat can help me. I've talked to Cappy about it and I might be doing something wrong, but I want to know if because I'm not crazy. Something is happening with my game that's keeping me from advancing past that point. So
sometimes you just got to uninstall and reinstall and that fixes so many things.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I may have to do, but I want to work up to that point so the chat can see what's going on because some of them might be more knowledgeable about me. And if I need to uninstall and reinstall, that's fine. I have the physical disc. That's fine. That's the first thing I want to play because I'm like, what the hell is going on? I want to finish this game. So, I want to be in chat already. Okay. Well, you're like, I want people to teach me how to play Fortnite because I don't know how to play Fortnite. Don't expect me. It's fine. I don't care. For what game? Jedi or what is it called? Fallen Order.
Star Wars, Jedi, Jedi
Sorry,
Fallen Order.
Jedi Fallen Order. Thank you. So, anyways, that's what we got going on.
Yes,
chat.
and I'm having to run out very soon.
Yes.
So
chat, thank you so much. You guys are on fire. We love you. We couldn't do this without you, and we wouldn't do this without you. So thank you so much. Thank you for all the donations. Oh, on that channel, on that note, let me refresh one more time. Make sure I'm good there. You guys are absolutely incredible. We will see you next weekend. See you around. Bye.
Bye.